had dream locks for 10 years. I can't say that I know what that means. Can you explain that a little more? And I'm going to defend myself against this boss. So because I did the negotiation at first. Oh, a meditator's pillow? Oh, dreadlocks. I read that as dream. Oh, the first one is dreamlocks. Gotcha. Okay. Uh, it sounds really interesting. I don't know. Like, how is that helping you with meditation? I know this is like a weird side conversation to have while I beat up the first boss, but gotcha. Gotcha. Apply bleed. Bleed doesn't can't be affected by robots. So I really don't care if the bouncer takes a bunch of damage, and I don't necessarily care if I take a bunch of damage, only because I know he's a boss. At the end of every boss fight, you get the chance to sleep and heal for full. So um, I'm going to be more about leveling up my cards again and um, and just downing the boss as fast as possible. So with this boss in particular, oh, dreadlocks are the ropes used to climb to enlightenment. I am familiar with what dreadlocks are. I was just not familiar on how that particular hairstyle helped you in meditative purposes. So the two ways to make this boss fight work is this guy will spawn new dudes, a new robot every time you've cleared out all the robots. Um, so you can just clear out every robot, and then all he'll do instead of attacking you is spawn another one, spawn another one, spawn another one. Or what you can do is kind of like what I did, which is just apply a lot of bleed right off the bat, and then have him slowly just die as you defend yourself. Boss cards are often better. This one's great. Apply bleed for each card played this turn. So you'll just be card, 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 a whole bunch of bleed all at once. And this one is kind of the ones I've been saving up for and hoping it would show up in this run. You get to attack a random argument, and you spend all of your influence and attack it again per influence spent. So when you use those cards that are going to get 2 influence, and then at the end of your turn you lose it, if my stack is up at like 12 and I'm going to lose 4 or 5 of it at the end of the turn, I can just play this card. It will use all 12, attack 13 times, because you get 1 for free, and then 12 more times, and you can deal 24, 28 damage, just boom, 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 rapid fire. And then I've got a bunch of upgrades. These upgrades would have been better pre-boss fight, but we'll see how it goes. So uh, there's 2 ways to go. This is going to be a combo heavy card upgrade or a bleed heavy card upgrade. I think we're already leaning towards bleed because we didn't see any good combo cards off the bat. So I'll go ahead and upgrade those. So better offense, more damage, but 2 to 5 and gain 2 defense I think is good, because that 2 defense will be 3 defense due to my upgrade. Oh, thanks, Matt. I kind of see where you're going with that now. Boss graphs, so boss buffs. Gain 1 action at the start of your turn. You can no longer own a pet. Is good. I wasn't owning a pet to begin with. Gain 1 action at the start of your turn. Take 3 damage at the end of every turn. Um, and then whenever you gain dominance, which is a red buff for negotiations, deal 1 damage to all targets. So not doing red stuff, so I'm not worried about that. Don't necessarily want to take the damage, so I'll go ahead and get the extra action on every turn, but not own a pet. Oh, it still let me do my orange. I'll get the flask that would have helped me in the boss combat to begin with, but and then you can go ahead and go to sleep. So you've beaten the boss, you can go rest, start day 2, everything heals up. You get my free card from the one guy liking me from before, so added a spark grenade to my combat. I gotta be careful to start using these items. I've been saving a lot, but the more cards you have, the more thinned out your deck gets. So it gets harder and harder to get the cards you need. Definitely day 2 is about picking sides. So I'd want to pick the Admiralty side because I've already gone into the Admiralty so hard in the beginning. It gives you a negotiation card off the bat, and it makes the other side, the rogues, hate you by siding for the police. So deal damage equal to the defense of all your arguments, or improvise a random card. It costs 0. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the improvise a random card. It costs 0. Do a combat mission. If the target has bleed, apply cripple and wound. So I really like this because it adds reducing their damage and increasing the damage they take to my bleed. Let me see 1 second. I had some music going. There you go. My voice audio. Let's see if I can turn that up. So there you go. My mic audio. That's about as high as I can go with my mic audio. With Exile, am I like? I was having issues peaking earlier, so that's like twice what I was originally at. See if I'm picking up any weird sounds now though. Gotcha. Thank you, Ryan. I could also turn down this background music a little bit to make sure it's not as obtrusive. Okay. So I went down like a quarter Exiled King. If I increased it 100%, I went down about 25% just to see if that helps with peaking or stuff like that. Thanks for shouting that out. I appreciate it. Going into day 2, I have. So we've unlocked the meat market for day 2, which is where you can. Okay, so the white noise partially is coming from my fan. Any mutators? Yes. Oh no, mutators? No. This is just strictly a Prestige 2 run, trying for Prestige 3. Um, I, off the beginning, because you just jumped in, super important, what I grabbed was Admiralty off the bat. So I do have, from people liking me, I've got the first bonus defense, and I'm trying to get the second one, so that all my defense cards are +2. I think that's in runs that I've gotten the +2 defense or 2 sparing bonuses. Super easy to get through the rest of the game. And then I only have the 1 hate, and I'm going to try and stay off that. Also, from the cards I've gotten so far, I'm going to try and get combat bleed. There's a late game card called Hema something, but it basically heals you from the bleed you get. And that will be great. It's definitely going to carry you through the last boss fight. But if you don't find it, There's definitely a lot of good bleed cards mid to late game that'll help you get through there. I can grab the gun from the corpse, which is gain a +2 bonus damage every card played this turn. So 3, 5, 6, 7 damage maybe. Or I could finish it, not get the card, finish the burial, gain 4 resolve to go from 30 to 34. I'll maintain the 34. So, Exile, do you play this game a lot? And if you do you play with any of the mutators or mutators on? If so, I'd like to see what people are getting for like a good feel of that. In exchange for information. Let's see if we can get it. So which one is that? That's coming from there. So I could have gone for smarts right off the bat, which would have helped out later, but I think getting rid of that original argument is going to be good. Yeah, I definitely. So I've looked at the one where when you upgrade your cards, you can pick random cards instead, and I feel like that would be great, especially with your starting deck, um, while being a little random. Like um, it could be very helpful. The only part I saw about drafting your deck is the first couple times that I've done it, I've gotten almost no defense cards in negotiation or combat, which almost kills a run right off the bat and makes you have to restart. Um, so I'm a little leery about the whole drafting mutator aspect of it. Oh, I completely agree. It's probably still you're probably still able to win. It's not like a end all beat all. You have to do this mutator or else you lose. Um, and like I've had crazy luck in some of these runs, uh, but I've also had really bad luck, especially personally with the draft. So this fight in particular, where I'm going to be outnumbered and I don't have a whole lot, is why we stacked in the beginning experience. So a lot of my cards are upgraded. They'll give me, counter and bleed. The defense cards help me out a little more, and I also saved the whistle, which should have given me the dog. Yep, it's giving me a dog. It's not going to deal a whole lot of damage, but it will soak up potentially 19 damage, if not more. And I could apply some defense. So 10 will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. So I'm taking 4 from this. I may just take the 4. Seeing the 7s coming from him, I'll cripple that down to 4, allowing myself to take, I think it's 1 at this point, and I'll apply a bunch of bleed. So at this point, the deck starts building itself. You start getting into the groove of um, I'm gonna build towards bleed. I'm gonna build towards combo, or you've leveled up a lot of your cards. You're starting to hash out what you're getting, what you're needing. Ooh, summon a prototype drone's great too. You're good, man. Stay as long or as not as long as you want. I probably will only be streaming for another, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour anyway. I may not get through this entire run. I actually probably should focus in and stop. I just like talking to you guys and hanging out. But we'll focus in and try and get as much through, if not through this entire run, as possible. But it's great to see you hanging out. Hit him for 3 defense, and then defend up as much as possible. So we'll attack 2 random enemies with piercing. We'll go ahead and throw that. So I'm not 100% sure too this dog will stay around, but we'll see. It's great when you get cards that count the number of cards played. When you have that card that gives you extra cards that cost 0, it feeds into that combo, which is really nice. And then when he'll hit his bleed, they'll both surrender. We'll win. We'll see if I can keep that dog. Probably not, but 2 blade flashes, which is good, especially 0-cost cards for a particular boss. I'm not sure I'll get that boss though. Gain a combo for every 2 cards in your hand, and finisher gain 1 counter per combo. I'm not actually running a combo deck. I'll run a bleed, so adding more cards like this may hurt me more than help me. So I can kill them or let them go. If I kill them, the spree won't like me, but the Admiralty will like me more. So I may go ahead and do that. So the spree's going to hate me. Status cards cost 1 additional action to get rid of, and enemy spree will join the battle with less panic, but it'll help me more on the Admiralty side. There's also ways to get rid of people that hate you. You could find them in the game world, provoke them through a negotiation into fighting you, and then kill them. And a dead person can't hate you. Applying 1 wound to every enemy. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to every enemy argument's good. Or your attacks deal 2 bonus damage to targets with bleed. I think I'm going to do that. The whole bleed run is kind of building itself. So that's good. I've got some money. I've got a little grip of money. I don't need the health. I will go into sparring. It'll be a free upgrade of one of my combat cards. Fight Dirty, Chamber, or Gash. Chamber needs 4. Gash needs 3. So I may upgrade Chamber. It was farther away from being upgraded. We'll go with 6 defense. And we'll run here real quick to try and see if I can get an upgrade. He hates me, or I can defend myself. This is self-defense. He already hates me. If I kill him, then dead people can't hate me. So that's probably a good way of figuring it out. So the next, I'll apply the defense. My next card deals maximum damage, and I've played 3 cards before that, so it'll stack a bunch of bleed on him. I'm not as worried about killing the bug. I kind of want more defense and counter. So I will be taking 4 damage here, but I do have 8 counter. So for every hit, he'll hit me 3 times. That means I'll hit him back 3 times for 8 damage each. He's just outside his threat range, which means a little bit of damage, and that dude is gone. There, we're running it here. And there we go. And this bug will go down. Cool. That'll be the... So he'll hate me because I killed his friend, but his friend will no longer hate me. It's just passing one hatred off from one to another. And then if he has bleed, apply cripple. Oh, this isn't the shop. As my mistake. So we'll look at who I'm doing these jobs for and who I'll want to get to like me in the future. This will be for the spree, which already hate me pretty much. Okay, so you can do a combat with Rook to attack a mini boss, and if you beat the mini boss, Rook will like you, and you'll get a little extra. So our combat deck could use some upgrades, and so we might as well do the extra combat. I don't feel like I'm taking too much damage here, so might as well keep it up. Draw 3 cards. He has the bleed, so we can go ahead and apply the cripple and the wound. Get the defense. And then the counter. And we're beating up some people. Usually these fights don't go that fast. But applying the cripple and the bleed and the counter, we're definitely helping out. And then it'll allow us, basically, I don't think we took anything more than 1 or 2 damage there. Apply 2 cripple, but for 2, that's very expensive. Discard your hand, gain 2 defense, and 2 counter for each card discarded. This is nice, especially if it's the last card you play. That combos well with our draw cards. 3 and draw cards, so it replaces itself. Upgraded pool. I explained it before. The upgraded pool of cards is way better than having 5 cards, to me personally. You gain a little bit of risk of the upgraded pool. Oh, I was here already. Let's try it for this negotiation. So that is for the Admiralty. Perfect. It's perfect to get him. He's the other sparing guy, so when I get his buff, I'll have the extra defense. I just gotta make sure that I don't piss off any more Admiralty towards the end of the game. There you go. And I will get the know-it-all, because I'll have enough for, I might as well level that up. Just take a little bit of damage. Deal 3. Random cost. Okay, so this is, I have to remove something from my circle, but I could remove a debuff. So it actually heals me to give me more actions. I've got 2 actions left, so I'll use it to draw some cards. Give myself a little more influence. I'll go ahead and drink from the flask. It'll gain me influence, and but the downside is that I don't necessarily, like, I just want to get rid of that card. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm getting the cards I want, so I want to streamline my deck more than anything else. I want to make sure I get the cards I need when I need them. And when you have, 17 cards, it's hard to get the one you need when you need it. those cards still need upgrading, so that's worth using. We'll incept a vulnerability, which means this will be 3 damage per, and then this will attack 6 total times, because it'll be 3 damage, but 5 additional times. So just rapid fire off a win. Part of the reason that that deck or that card is so busted in green or diplomacy based decks. This is more damage, or more probable damage. Dominance helps red cards, which I don't necessarily need, but it's also an argument that people will focus on. So I may just pick that up.